What are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp? Well, I guess I got too Shreksy today. But tomorrow, prepare to get Shreked.
Oh boy, do we have some things to discuss today with Chris. And so, if you are unaware, the lead singer of Smash Mouth recently died. And Smash Mouth sort of became a meme after their hit song, All Star, was sponsored in Shrek and played in like the title sequence. And so essentially, Fatty came up with this brilliant idea, literally the day after he died, to pay homage to him, to dress up as Shrek, and just make a complete ass out of himself. You know, I sort of consider it like a self-humiliation ritual, because I feel like that's what most of Fatty's content has become. It's his manager and whatever goblins are associated with him, just saying, yeah, Chris, turning you into Shrek and having you wobble around outside and get all sweaty. That's going to be a really good video. And I wouldn't care as much, I guess, if you really wanted to do a touching, well, it doesn't even have to be a touching tribute. It can just be having some consideration of the guy that you're claiming to show respect for. He hated the fact that their band became known for Shrek. He hated it. And on one hand, I think it was the jumping off point for a lot of people to actually listen to their music. Like Astro Lounge, great album. If you haven't listened to any of Smash Mouth's actual albums, I love Astro Lounge. That's just something I started off with. But it's funny because he didn't like that they were associated with Shrek all the time. I think that came around later on, but for a long time it was a real pet peeve of his. And you know, what if they would have done a parody of the All-Star video, you know, where he's walking around on the street and jumps over the fence? That could be interesting, and I get it, you know, maybe I'm too nitpicky, but I can't help it, you know? Every time I see something about Fatty, it's just, there's something that's more instinctual, that I'm just like poking holes into small crevices. You know, for instance, I was perusing his shorts on his channel to make this video. I went to his About section where they basically give a description, and holy hell, look at all the links going on down below. But I like that he puts a simple man, a famous YouTuber, and comedian. Yeah, real famous YouTuber and comedian. You know, I am. You know, sometimes I say I'm not trying to cast aspersions. I am this time. You know, I think whoever wrote this, it wasn't Fatty. Whoever wrote this it's like self-aggrandizing, because Fatty's not famous anymore. He's not really relevant for the most part. So I think we should navigate away from that. And I think in relation, that would help have a realistic picture on his cameo. Because he's charging $50 per cameo video and $10 to message him. For real? You gotta be kidding me at that point. Because maybe I can understand $10 for a video as a little goof and a gag. But I'm not gonna spend $50 on Fatty to fumble around and not say something coherent that I paid money for. Just not worth it, dude. Not worth my time. Either way, we're going to examine the Shrek arc he posted like 6 shorts and a video about it, so we're going to look at it. Get out of my swamp. Enough rambling. So you can see almost immediately that Fatty just was having none of this. You can see he's really upset as they're dressing him up and turning him into the swamp-fested creature that he really is. And it sort of makes sense because, I mean, there is like dress accessory spray paint that you can put on. If they ended up painting his face like in a normal fashion with a brush, I don't know why they wouldn't just do that for his whole head, because it clearly was irritating him and he looks really pissed off afterwards. But hey, That's part of the charm. I'm sort of assuming that this is going to turn out like that one distant YouTube image or internet image of that guy that painted himself for like Halloween and his skin stayed tinted forever. That's what I'm hoping turns out with Fatty. It's just he's going to slowly morph into the landscape around him and really, you know, just become one with the land. Hell yeah, Fatty. Why don't you get in front of camera and just do a little jig for us? Come on, dance, fat boy. Do us a solid, you know? Really go out there and shake that rumpus, you know? That's what we're really looking for. And coincidentally, on this video was the first one I saw of him dressing up as Shrek. And I actually left a comment that he replied to. Because I basically said, this is the one chance in his entire career where it might actually make sense for him to be shirtless, because he's shirtless in every other goddamn video. But for some reason in this one, they said, can't do it. We don't have enough paint. And on one hand, it's kind of funny, because I'm like, well, yeah, I guess painting Fatty's body would take a lot more paint than a typical person. But at the same time, it's like, how much does paint cost to put on him? You know, get 2 bottles. You can go to a store and get, you know, non-adhesive kids, you know, non-toxic paint that comes in like big jugs. I'm sure one of those you could get it on Fatty for like $15. But maybe that's outside the budget. I just thought it was something funny that I would bring up, because it's like, you had one shot and you squandered it. It's just really funny because this video is basically going to progress where, you know, they started filming at probably like 7 p.m. at night or so, where it's, you know, it's a little bit sunny out, but it progressively is going to, you know, get darker as time goes on. But he is going to progressively get so much sweatier. This man, and in fairness, you know, him hanging out in the outhouse with all this paint on, you know, it makes sense why he typically has a shirt off, because he has to vent somehow. And I'm sure it's smelling real bad in there. I'm sure, you know, he's just starting to liquefy. And it's not going to get any better for our boy Shrek.
Nothing like a good breakfast to get a man going early. Delicious.
Hell yeah. We got the anthill back, guys. I know we haven't seen the weed smoke machine in a while. You know, maybe they ran that joke into the ground, but we have not run the anthill joke in the ground yet. It's really funny because every video that Fatty does, literally, he has like 2 points of interest. Well, now 3 with the outhouse. He has the anthill, the outhouse, and like his kitchen or sitting on the couch. That's it. That's where all this filming takes place. You know, we don't see anything fun since he was on the New Jersey trip. So they thankfully have moved away from hotboxing everything, because unfortunately they can't hotbox the anthill. But I'm sure karma, since they tried to. But I'm sure that they'll try and milk the anthill for as much as they can get. You know, he stomped on it, he smoked them, now he's pretending to eat them. Which is kind of gross because he took a broken piece of wood, stuck it in there, and then actually put it in his mouth. Kind of revolting, kind of insulting. It's sick, it's piss.
Now the fly. It's a very dangerous game.
So I'd be curious if... So this is like a salt gun that you shoot at bugs and it like vaporizes them, essentially. I would hope that it's not actually installed with any salt in it, because... I mean, the place is already a mess, but shooting salt around is just going to make everything worse. It's sort of like from It's Always Sunny, where, you know, they go over to Charlie's apartment and they talk about how there's, like, you know, asbestos and, like, you know, other particulates stuck on the floor and they don't like it.
All right, I'll tell you what, you go ahead and go first. I still got a little energy left. I don't know about this floor, Dennis. It's covered in sand.
No, I don't know. It smells like some kind of spice blend or pesticide or some other kind of sandy poison or something. I don't know. I wouldn't sleep on the floor, though.
You gonna sleep with them?
You gotta.
That's what Fatty House is sort of morphing into. I think it's kind of funny because at the very end, they make, well, basically when he does Get Out of My Swamp, they do some cut-ins that I cut out of the local townsmen running into the woods from Shrek to capture Shrek, right? Well, they stuck up a little short picture of the Reddit symbol to be like, oh, this is the Redditors coming after Fatty. Well, maybe, but you can't be showing off naked anime babes up on top of your cabinetry and then try and blast Redditors for being cringe or being stocky or being aggressive or whatever. It's like, you're fitting right in with the demographics. We know that you read everything, whether it's you or the manager. We know somebody in your camp is reading everything and is aware of everything going on, so let's try and diffuse the situation here a little bit, right? I don't think I would jump off that ledge into the Reddit cesspool as much as you're trying to.
Oi! This tribute goes out to Steve Harwell. May his soul rest in peace, and may he be forever remembered by the memes he created and the music that he sung. Now, do me a favor and get out of me swamp!
I mean, what is there even to say at this point? He's trying to do some sort of accent. It's not coming off as Shrek as much. It's supposed to be like a Scottish accent. It just sort of sounds like maybe a drunkard Irish 90-year-old man stumbling into the street, dying in a gutter type of accent. It is what it is. He's a famous and professional comedian and voice imitator, guys. Let's not go too hard on him. Let's show some sympathy. But what I will go a little bit hard on is I'm looking in the background here. He's got his Charlie Brown shirt up there. He's got 500 hangers just chilling up there for some reason. No clothes to put there. And it sort of makes sense. He doesn't wear shirts very often. He doesn't clean his house. He doesn't wash his clothes. I mean, I'm sure he's probably going to be green after this video for a couple days just because he's too lazy to get in the shower. He's got 2 boxes of ramen up there. And for some reason, they installed the fire extinguisher at the head of the door. Doesn't make a lot of sense while you're putting it 7 feet in the air. I don't know. Every time I ever see a new aspect of the house, we don't really film in this direction a whole lot. But anytime I see some new angles, some new components of the house, I'm like, man, they really, I mean, there's not even a plate around what I think is a light switch back there. So they haven't even done that. It looks like it's exposed to the back of the... Like, come on. I thought that all this was going to be fixed, Fatty. Stop spending money on painting yourself like Shrek and get the rest of your house actually, like, put up to some sort of code. I know that we haven't reached that point, and we never will, but make some strides.
And I will show personally, and I'll rip your head off with my donkey.
So I'm not going to get into this too much in this video, but essentially, Chris adopted another cat. And if you're unaware of the whole cat saga, I think I might make a more extended version talking about Chris and cats, because he and his mother never really treated them well. And the last cat he had was in a horrible situation, and he had to give it up, and then he cried about it. I mean, it's a whole thing that I don't want to take so much time talking about now. I do think it's malfeasance to allow him to have a cat, and I don't know where he's living in New York, but I mean, like, if anybody can somehow get the cat removed from him, that's the best, because that cat is not going to thrive in this environment. Chris can't even take care of himself. What makes you think that he's going to be able to take care of another cat after hundreds of failures prior?
Fuck.
It's truly a beautiful way to close out this video, if I do say so myself. You sort of have Fatty trying to do a gag. Camera guy can't even hold the camera upright. We're at like a diagonal angle the entire time. You know, I'm not expecting Paramount Pictures, Lionsgate, you know, quality footage over here, but we can at least try and center him in the frame, can we not? He might be too wide, I don't know, take a couple steps back. But he's like bending the like central support of the bike when he's sitting down. He's grunting, he's crying, he's complaining. You know, I would love to be there just in the background. Whenever he does any of these videos with somebody else filming him, I would love to be there because I'm sure he pisses and moans the entire time. I mean, he's sitting on the ground there complaining about riding a bike, dude. Like, I get it, it's probably hard for him to ride a bike, but like, holy God, he's such a baby when it comes to everything. You don't have to complain and cry every time you do something. And at the same time, you can put your foot down, you know, he just like lets them do whatever they want with him and he just falls through. At least that's our assumption. You know, there might be a million things that he's turned away and we just don't know about. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.